Newsfirst, face to face.
Good evening and welcome to Face to Face. This evening we have Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, Executive Committee Member of the NPP. Welcome, Dr. Jayatissa.
Good evening.
So, let's get right down to the prevailing challenges that Sri Lanka is facing right now and how your party would handle such challenges if you're in government.
Yeah, as you know, since April 2020, we have already announced officially we are in bankruptcy. And this bankruptcy not limited in the economic sector, economic field. It extended in everywhere for the cultural, social, political, everywhere. So we are in a big crisis now as a country. So we have to come up, from this crisis gradually, so with the systematic manner, planned manner. So that's why our socio-economic political policy is very much different from the parties who govern the country, because already they have failed and they have announced it officially, at least the parliament, like the first budget of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. He said that the economic model implemented since 1948 to 77 was failed, and the neoliberal policy they introduced since 1977 also failed. So definitely we need a modern but alternate economic solution policy to the country. Based on that, we can build the political, social and cultural nature in the country.
Now, how would you deal with the cost of living crisis, which is hammering the public right now?
As you know, since 1948 to 1977, for the first 3 decades, we have somewhat production economy, actually not much extent, but in agriculture sector especially, we have some kind of production. But 1977, what happened with this neoliberal economic policy, every government neglected the production system. They think that the opening of the economy is the best solution for the country. But after 45, 46 years, now we have nothing. In this scenario, especially after the COVID, after this global crisis, we need a good production plan in goods and services sector. Otherwise, we can't come up with this crisis. As you know, even in Singapore, they have good wealth and they have good capital. The per capita income is nearly $90,000. But now, after the COVID, they have implemented a very good program that called 30 by 30. They plan to gain 30% of their food production in their country with very limited resources. They have no land, they have no water sources, but even in the factories, inside the factories, inside the apartments, now they are growing their need, 1/3 of their need. So we have to engage immediately to this production sector. We have to enter into the global supply chain. Without production, we can't go there. So only the way is with a good economic plan, we have to implement that good production of goods and services.
Dr. Nalinda, over the past 2 years, the Immigration Department has issued 1.8 million passports. Now, I'm sure those people didn't just get the passport and stay at home. Most of them would have left or are leaving. And that includes everyone from masons up to specialist doctors. And we see this now all throughout the economy, especially if you need to go to hospital. It's a dire situation. And the taxation, the high taxation in this country is being blamed by many, including income tax and, of course, the 18% VAT. How would you reverse the brain drain, and what is your policy towards taxation?
You know, before 2019, the people went out from the country at least 300,000 per year. Out of that, 60% were unskilled labor. They are the main source for the dollar source in the country, remittance. At that time, we got nearly $500-600 million per month. But after 2022 or 2023, we can see the brain drain, the skilled professionals are going out from the country. This is a disaster, especially as you said, in the health sector. From the senior consultants to the technical officers, they are leaving. And the education, in the university sector and the banking sector, and engineers, so every professionals. We paid tax for their education, higher education, local and foreign training, but after that, after these 5 to 6 years of their training, we lost them. So we have to establish a good system here to attract them, our production system. You see, why are they leaving the country? One thing is taxation, but not only the taxation, they lost their faith of the country. They can't see a future from the prevailing political system. Some even they trust for next 7 months, it will happen something during the general election and the presidential election this year. But others, they lost their trust. That's why we first thing is we have to build the trust of the people over the country, or the government, or the governing policy. Then we can attract them again, because they love the country, they want to build this country, they want to live here. Problem is we have to give them a good path. We have to show them our plans, policies. So I want to request them, please don't leave the country. We will get together and build this. Let's see this year, let's wait this year. We have to change this regime, and we have to change this political, socio-political, economic, cultural system. And on that, with building good foundation, we will build this country as a icon of the Asia.
But Dr. Nalinda, would you be re-looking at the rates of taxation that this government has implemented right now, which the public believes, generally speaking, is too high?
Yeah, why not? We have to reduce it. And we have to tax the certain the corporate sector, because they are not paying enough taxes to the government, especially in the distilleries, and we know that few businessmen, they have very good connections with the political leaders, the regime, and they are not paying the tax they have to pay. So we have to strengthen the inland revenue, RMV, excise, and especially the customs. So we can gain the tax to the treasury, then we can reduce the burden of the professionals and the common people. The VAT is too much, I think. I mean, with 18% tax, how these people buying goods and services, right? And with the taxation of from 6% to 35, 36%, how these professions are living in comfortable way. So definitely we have to reduce, especially indirect tax and this pay tax. So we have to find another ways to taxation the treasury.
Now, Dr. Nalinda, let's look at the small and medium sector, SMEs. That whole sector has collapsed because they were unable to, most of them were unable to repay their debts. Then there is now parate execution, which allows banks to seize their assets. And you wouldn't blame such small business owners once their assets are seized and they have shut down. They would look at migrating. Now, how would you turn this around? Because SMEs constitute more than 50% of our economy and employment.
Recently, in the parliament, our party leader, Anrukumar Dissanayake, revealed that nearly 1,250 or 1,300 companies are bankrupted, and according to the parate law, they have taken from the banks. But what will happen next? Actually, as a country, we don't have big resources like big mines or some, and we have very limited power resources. So in building economy, we have to based on the small, medium and micro level enterprises. But these the enterprises can't survive alone. I mean, they have not enough capital. Then they don't have the required technology. So this is the government role. The government has to involve to facilitate these enterprises. Actually, we don't believe that the government should do the businesses. That is before 1977. That is the pattern of the global economy at that time. After World War, there was no big capital in the private sector. So government had to involve the enterprises. But after 1977, the economic pattern changed. And now NPP policies, the government should not do the business, but we have to enter into the main sectors that related to the sovereignty of the country, like power and energy, education, health, like that. But that not means that from the up to bottom, the government is doing everything. We have to regulate it, these sectors, and the role of the government is facilitating the entrepreneurs and these enterprises.
Now, there are over 500 state-owned enterprises, and most of them, goodness knows what they're doing. We hear of the larger entities, such as CEB and CCC, but we don't hear much about these small entities. Is your party looking at continuing with over 500 such entities, or would you shut some down? Would you privatize? What's your policy there?
Not at all. We have to consider one by one, because some entities started in 1960s and 70s. Now the system has changed. So we are ready to look in these entities one by one. What's the necessity? What kind of services they are giving now, and how we improve the efficiency of these entities. So as a whole, like that, if you asking, are you against privatization? That's in certain sectors, we have to privatize 100%. In certain sectors, we have to go collaboration of private and public partnerships. And some sectors, we have to regulate strictly by the government. The all depends on the efficacy and the what amount of benefits are people getting, because we want to run the country. That policy is the people-oriented policy. We have to ensure every citizen of this country are living in a comfortable way. So first of all, we have to increase the growth of the economy, and in parallel, we have to expand the economy. These growth and expansion will go in parallel. Otherwise, if we focus only in the growth of the economy, what happens? The disparity develop very soon. That happens. So the role of the government, the main role of the government is ensure the equal or the distribution of the benefits and wealth of the country.
Now, Dr. Nalinda.
So anyway, we are very open to discuss in any sector the percentage of private sector involvement. So we don't have any idea to run all these 500 entities by the government.
Now let's look at the political scenario. In a general election, you may get a majority, you may not get a majority. Sri Lanka doesn't have proper scientific polls to a great extent. If your party does not win a majority, with whom would you look at allying to form a coalition government?
Let's see. First of all, we request
you
the
must
people.
be having some idea by now.
Yes, first of all, we request the people, the voters of this country, will build a strong government to rebuild the country. If any mistake, if we won't have the majority, actually the policy of the NPP is not taking any party or not form any coalition government with any party. But we are very open and we are very transparent. We will expose our policies and principles, the way we are forwarding to the country, and we request the individual parliamentarians to join and support the government. We'll see. If people accept our policy and they will see we will have nearly 100 or 105 seats, then we can run the government with the support of individuals. Since 1989, we have only 3 times we had the majority in the parliament. In 1989, 2010 and 2020. Every government they had only 105, 106, 104, but most of the governments completed their 5 years. We'll see. That depends on the election, the time period, and the people. We believe the people, we trust them, because now we have enough experience. Not only one or 2 years, this is not 5 years, this is nearly 7 decades, more than 7 decades. So we have experience from Pakistan, what happened to Premier Imran Khan. So that's why we ask the people of Sri Lanka, we will build a strong government to build the country, to change this corrupted political system in the country, and with a balanced, non-aligned foreign policy, to change the brand of the country. So to fulfill basically these three requirements, we need a strong government stand on our policy.
What about a scenario where the president would be from one party and perhaps your party would have the majority in parliament? Have you thought of that?
I think it won't happen this time. Most probably presidential election will come before October 10th. In between 20th September and the 10th October, presidential election will come. The general election definitely will come just after the presidential election. So we will have two major elections in this year. According to our political history, if the presidential election comes first, the party who win the presidential election can ensure the majority of the parliament. It happened in 2010, 2020. So we hope that in that way.
And I'm afraid that's all the time we have for you today. Our thanks to Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, Executive Committee member of the NPP, for shedding so much light on their policies should they come to power through an upcoming election, or if they were to form some kind of coalition government. Do stay tuned. The People's Platform is coming up next. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.